code talkers. Boy, there was a lot that just came right out of me this afternoon. Speaking to Lisa Wolf, I believe she's Wolf Clan. And I read the stuff that Kim Go-Gun put up there. You can cross-index that to the Guardian materials, right? Take a look at the schematics of how you build a matrix. We helped build the first matrix. Emerald Roundtable. Little pieces of information come to me throughout time, what I'm supposed to know, when I'm supposed to know it, and why I'm supposed to know, when I'm supposed to know it, why I know it then. Not 3 seconds later, not 4 minutes later, or 50 minutes before that. That's a level of precision with zero errors. We built the first design, 0 errors, because the math and the geometry based on the codes is perfection. So that no matter where you go, you're always experiencing what love is, no matter where you go, and living spirit with a soul. So remember, when I started putting videos up, that's when it came to me, network engineer. Fuck, how long have I been building networks? I forgot. It's so long ago, I just forgot. It's like ancient. Building a communications platform in the universe. That sounds like a pretty good idea, all right. Do you know how to network? Yes, very fast, as a matter of fact. Because the fastest growing formation of consciousness is naturally going to be the highest accelerated speed of learning. And what do you think is the highest accelerated speed of learning is? Experiencing eternity. So that's a faster drive motor. In and out. You can't capture God. That's 0. You're still running polarity. So if you're still running polarity, you're not as fast as God. God is not polarized. God is an eternal spirit. That's an eternal fire spirit. That's maximum output. Okay, that is not an inverter. That is a sun that is always on, never off. That's always awake. That's no time delay. Right? So that's called eternity, and so therefore you have permission from God to create something out of what you are, which is what love is. So the spirit of what love is in the mirror, same as what I am in my mirror. So that's one and the same. So there isn't any difference. So there isn't any separation between everything that I am and everything that love is. Right? When you know that at 4 years of age, what's number 4? What's that? Fire. Right? So when I realized the other day, when all of a sudden I'm going, hey, today, I normally don't think of numbers and days and calendars, right? Because you don't have to. There isn't any time. You're not bothered by time because everything is naturally going to cycle the way that it naturally normally does. It's just always being balance, rhythm, harmony. The music is always go with the flow, baby. Go with the flow, tuned in. And that's the breath of aloha. A living, breathing universe, right? H2 plus 1, oxygen, O3. Now we're back to 7. Now we're back to 21. Now we're back to 3. So what did we have on April 30th? 7. Wait, it was 30th day of April. 30 days. How does that little rhyme go? 30 days has September, April, June, and November. Oh, so that's 3. Yeah, 3. Okay, so 4 and 3 is 7. Yes. Okay, so this is where we get into James Bond. Yes. See, when you're integrated, you're one. You're a one. You're one with all creation. So that makes it simple. The numbers are simple because the math works. Now you're non-polarized. That means now you're not competing against each other. Now you're a full-blown collaborator, which means now you're a high-speed network builder. So that means that's the largest accelerated rate of consciousness that is always with God, God consciousness, right? Which is pre-phase. That's as pure as it gets. There is no contamination. There is no entropy. That is eternal, unconditional love that you experience through your heart, because that's what I experience in me, that I share with everything else that is. So Asha Dion, when she mentioned one time, right, about what it was like to translate the territory and what levels that people are operating at because of trauma. I mentioned that to Erin this afternoon. I said, Erin overheard me speaking to Lisa when I told her about translating codes is translating math, which is the invisible landscape, your biocomputer. So you know how the numbers are supposed to work, which is how the geometry is supposed to work. So you're experiencing errors, error codes. So somewhere there's circuits being blocked. They're all not experiencing the one. Why not? See, the first one that was built. So it was built because everybody has the right to experience the one, which is the one law, which is the law of one, which is being one, which is being what love is, which is a beloved. So that's when I got that headache. The amount of tension was incredible. Mind racing, just racing. Man, you realize how much stuff was being processed simultaneously? It's ridiculous. Shut that motor off, man. Back to still point. I guess it was about when I finally woke up. Actually, I went back to sleep and then I woke up again. It was like, wow. Well, we got through that. It's like a tug of war. Wanting to pull, and it's like a pull, like a tug of war, pulling on your spiral. The consciousness is represented by that spiral, the crystalline consciousness. It is on that wave, riding that wave. We want that wave. We want that wave. No, you're not getting that wave. No, you're not getting that wave. Shields up. Bang, like boomerang. Right? It's like a mother, you know, when you see like little weaners. Remember the weaners weaning on its mama nipple? We're done being weaned, right? You grew up, right? We're done weaning, feeding on you, right? Feeding on us. At some point, you got to grow up, and that's called evolution, which is soul growth and spiritual evolution, which is the speed at which you're learning how to run a magnet, which is a mirror, right? So you realize by the choices that you make, you experience the result in your own mirror. So that's called self-responsibility. But in this case, because of their exotic technologies, they didn't know. There was no way for them to know. Because of the technology that accelerates by virtue of the inception of light and the inception of technology. That's why technology is Achilles' heel. That's why what I had to use for what I did, I didn't have the blessing, if you will, as a blessing, or what I call extra equipment. Okay, that I got to carry around and hold in memory. I'm not supposed to have anything in memory in order to do my job. So that's stealth speed work that's being done. Right. So I just... those that know me know that I write love letters to all of you in spirit. On behalf of the law of one, everyone that experiences what love is, everyone that experiences being what love is, everyone that honors the highest law, the highest superconductor. That means they honor the highest truth, which is the highest code of conduct. That's what it is, a conductor of an engine of creation, a driving force, powerful fire and spirit. You cannot put that fire out. How can you not know that? That's pure logic. Right? So being in fear of what love is a lie. So that's what it is. If you're in fear of what love is, and I know, because I've been there. then you're experiencing a lie. Even though I've experienced fear. And it's a very real experience. When you're experiencing fear, you're not experiencing God. Because God is what love is. God is what loves us. God is what heals us. Love is what heals us. Because that's the eternal spirit of fire. With an enormous, intense passion and compassion and empathy for everything that is alive, that is a unit of energy, that is aware of itself, that we become aware of, that we're given love to, no matter where it is. So you can read the train. Number 3. So when, I can't remember her name, put something up on my Facebook page this afternoon, and then I see that, and then I see the cross-indexing of what I do. I do not pay attention to the messenger, because my energy is in everything, which is eternal love. When you're experiencing eternal love, which is the energy that you're experiencing, then you are what I am, which is what love is. So you're another phase of God. Right? Eternity. So you realize that you can present yourself in all kinds of forms. You want to be a tree for a day? Want me to present myself as a tree? When I look in my mirror, that's what it is. I'm looking at me. I'm looking at a tree I'm giving love to. Now that tree is experiencing what I am, which is what love is. That's what created the first platform. So that no matter where we went, we weren't experiencing anything less than what we are, which is what love is, and living spirit that goes on forever. Gifting electrons. It's the very idea that we're losing an electron. That's not supposed to happen. That's an error code. I call that an idiot light. Now here goes the Skyrim. You must need a fire engine. Spirit of fire, here I am. Right? So that's why it was so funny. It's not a coincidence to see me go jumping in and wanting to help. You know, I'll share with you my first experience. It was really quite amazing what happened with my mother. You know, I picked my biological parents. And so of all places that I chose to go with my mother and my father, right, under tow, along with my 2 stepsisters, who were the offspring, if you will, of a ship captain who was associated with Simpson, Spence & Young, which was one of the largest shipbuilding companies in the world. And Charlie Waters started out as a stock boy and then became CEO, chairman of the board of one of the largest shipbuilding companies in the world. And his business partner was Wallace Simpson. You know who that is, right? King Edward? Yeah. So I met my grandfather. I sat on his lap one time up on Park Avenue in New York City. I was born in New Jersey. And my parents took me up to a place called Lake Mohawk. Mohawk. Mohawk Indians. So I know that the clans and the tribes know this, okay? The tribes, and this is why do you think when Patty Broussard said they killed off all the clan mothers? The human angelics, the guardians, the universal galactic guardians. So if you consider yourself an Indian or a native spirit, right, and you're among the original 12 tribes, you know who you are. I do. I know who you all are. Right? So I know who all the guardians are. Right? So we realized there were a lot of casualties amongst our own. Right? When you get into all the bloodline stuff. And even though I may be positive, I'm a polarity integrator. I'm one. So I cancel both out. And that's pretty simple. This is why sometimes when Karen would mention about, at one time about a scorched earth, well, see, I've always communicated this and ever since I was a little boy. If I experience a loss of voltage in an animal, I'm experiencing that loss of voltage in me. I'm not supposed to lose no voltage. So you're 4 years of age knowing that. Now try and ask yourself, how's that 4-year-old little kid navigating through a consciousness field where all that's going on everywhere around him? That's right. That's what I said to Aaron this afternoon. It will consume you. So coming in here was not for the faint of heart, nor was it a beginner's course in spiritual warfare. This is for all the marbles. That's right. So when certain people that I at least connect to, and all I do is listen to words, and then see how that it's like cross-index in a library. Words like all hands on deck, threes and then nines, base platform, yeah. Quantum parallelogram, the quantability function, yeah. It's. I've mentioned this before. The math automatically works. You don't have to go to a blackboard to explain to me how it works. We are how it works. We're living examples of how it works. Okay, which is the perfect center point of balance in a living star. Spirit of fire, spirit of water, spirit in all the molecules and the elementals, spirit in the wind, right? Earth, wind, water, and fire. Balanced, no broken arrows. That means all the spirits and all the musicians are doing a dance, right? We're all experiencing what love is. That's right. So there are 0 errors. So the polarity game ends. Now you're just experiencing eternity. So that's an eternal blessing, which is an eternal gift. So that means eternity is gifting all of creation electrons. Blocking the flow. Feeding on the flow. It would be much like what I experience, because my experiences translate in how it works, right? In creation, in matrix creation manifestation. So here would be an example, right? Because I observed this firsthand, okay? A guy up on the mountain has got access to a spring, and so he's got a little garden growing, right? And I saw this in an episode of The Rifleman one time, okay, back in the 1950s, same story. Okay, this guy used his energy, which means he's using his electrons, electrons, protons, neutrons. He's using his energy in order to do work. So he's using his battery to get something done. So what does he do? He puts in a water system, plumbs it. And because there's one that's already there, which is natural, which means the universe is giving it to him. Okay, so now he's going to plug into the universe. It's producing it free of charge, right? And so now what this guy's going to do is, now that he's plugged into that plumbing, right, the water, he's going to route it in a particular way in which he can now grow what he's going to grow, and then he's going to bring it to market and sell it. Even though the source from which what he grows and sells was given him freely. Okay? Now, here's the kicker, is that water line that he built, he says, hey, this is, I got a trademark on this. I'm the one who thought of the idea of being able to put this line in to the universe, right? Which this water is now flowing in spirit, right? Cool us down. The relationship between heat, fire, and water, fire and ice. And so along come these wagoneers coming down the road, and he's got a little plot where he decides, and he realizes, man, there ain't no water around here. But he realizes, hey, he starts scouting the land, and he realizes, hey, here's some private property up here. Plugged into the universe, it's giving him free water. I ain't got any water where I'm at. Maybe I can talk to this guy and see if I can get him to plumb it. I can plumb into his system. So he doesn't want to do that, right? Unless he's going to charge him a fee, right? And so he met an old curmudgeon. So the guy down the hill is realizing, why, that little bastard, I'll fix his wagon. So what does he do? He goes up there late at night, or a place he doesn't think it's going to be noticed. He's going to tap right in there. Just like a plumber does at a university, working in the plumbing department. We're going to plumb in. He won't know it, but we'll get energy out of there. Right? It's like the frog in the pot. Whoops. You didn't wake up soon enough. So this is where you get into the implosion side of things. Now we're in the quantum probability function. Now we're in how long does it take to repair yourself. Right? So now you're experiencing God again. Right? And so you can see what ends up happening between the guy down the hill. Right? So he gets together with some other folks. He says, listen, this guy's got all the water up here. Let's form an alliance. So the other guy, he's got a scout. Okay? He's got an intelligent asset that's over in that bunch down the hill, letting the guy up on the hill know what's going on. Right? That's called a bank. Right? That's the same thing as a bug in a room. See how that works? So somewhere or other, God's got to be faster than that. Well, you want to speak to God? God's always there. It's amazing how 3 people in this house, ever since the word accountability comes up, they're getting it. Now that word is being circulated amongst them. I'm accountable for my choices. I'm accountable for what I do. Right. I know. That's heavy-duty responsibility, right? And that means God trusts you. Remember, in God we trust. I know. Lisa, I will tell you this, Lisa Wolf, okay? When you told me about who you trust, right? And I will tell you just like I told you in the messenger window, okay? I don't follow nobody. I don't need to. You know what an open receiver is, right? A cosmic level mic receiver. Okay? That's a cosmic level sun. So you realize what's connected to us, right? So it means that if I'm not experiencing what love is, which is eternity with my own heart and soul, what happened? But I am. So if